Something within you has started to move, quietly yet unmistakably. It's not restlessness, it's not confusion, it's the subtle pulse of destiny beginning to unfold. When divine change approaches, it never announces itself with thunder. It comes like the breath between thoughts, silent, deliberate, waiting for you to notice. I am Shi Heng Yi, and today we'll speak about that unseen movement, the moment when God, or what the ancients called the Tao, starts preparing your life for something massive. This isn't a story of sudden miracles or random blessings. It's about inner readiness, the sacred discipline that allows the universe to act through you, not around you. Centuries ago, Shaolin monks trained not only their bodies but their perception. They learned that when the spirit is still, the divine plan becomes visible, like a reflection appearing on calm water. You are being guided toward that same stillness, but to recognize it, you must first understand the difference between waiting and preparing. In this video, you will learn how divine transformation truly begins, how silence becomes strength, how discipline turns into clarity, and how surrender awakens your higher purpose. These are teachings often hidden within ancient scrolls and temple practice. Wisdom that reveals how the chosen ones are formed in quiet moments, not public victories. Stay with me until the end, because by then, you'll see how what feels uncertain in your life right now may be the first sign that something greater is already in motion. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets the art of inner mastery. If your path is one of awakening, discipline, and spiritual strength, this is your place. Subscribe, stay centered, and let us walk this path of awareness together. There comes a moment when the air around you feels heavier, not with worry, but with presence. The world hasn't changed, yet something inside begins to stir. You wake up with a strange awareness, as if life is whispering your name. This is not anxiety, it's the first tremor of alignment. In the temple, we were taught that energy speaks before words ever do. When the path ahead begins to shift, the body becomes the first messenger. You may notice your breath deepen for no reason, or your chest tighten when surrounded by noise. The body is not malfunctioning, it's recalibrating, preparing to hold more light, more purpose, more responsibility. Long before great masters acted, they listened. They could feel change arriving, not in visions or prophecies, but in sensations as subtle as a pulse beneath the skin. The ancient texts say, "When heaven moves, the sage feels it in his marrow." This means that divine work begins in silence, inside the human vessel chosen to carry it. So when unease rises, do not rush to escape it. Sit, observe, let it unfold. Shaolin wisdom reminds us that the dragon of transformation first curls within the still pond of awareness. You are not being unsettled, you are being attuned. The inner restlessness is proof that your spirit is syncing with a higher rhythm. God, or the universal intelligence, always begins his work invisibly, through sensation, intuition, and subtle shifts in focus. The visible miracles come later. The chosen ones learn to recognize the invisible first. They feel before they see. They listen before they move. Because in that quiet listening, the entire path ahead begins to reveal itself, step by step, breath by breath. True strength is not shown in movement, but in the space before it. In the Shaolin temple, students are not first taught how to strike or leap. They are taught how to be still. Days begin before dawn in silence, where even the breath is studied. The purpose is not physical control alone. It is the taming of impulse, the anchoring of spirit. Stillness is a discipline, not a pause. It is the art of remaining centered when everything around you demands reaction. Before any great expansion, nature first sends its roots deeper into the earth. The same law governs human transformation. When the divine begins to shape your destiny, it first strengthens your inner foundation, your patience, focus, and resilience. The world often confuses stillness with inactivity, yet nothing could be further from the truth. Stillness is the field where perception sharpens. It is where the mind stops chasing noise long enough to hear divine instruction. When you sit in stillness, the nervous system learns to stay calm amid uncertainty. Fear loses its grip. The heart becomes steady, and in that balance, wisdom begins to surface. The ancient masters used to say, Do not move until the way moves through you. That is the essence of spiritual readiness. To pause before reacting, to breathe before deciding, to trust that in stillness, life reorganizes itself on your behalf. The chosen ones understand that rushing invites disorder, but stillness invites guidance. Every sacred journey begins in this quiet discipline, not in grand gestures or visible action, but in the unseen work of aligning the body, mind, and spirit with the higher order. Only when the roots are deep enough can the divine wind safely expand your branches toward the light. There comes a time when the life you build no longer fits who you are becoming. The routines, the ambitions, even the ways you once sought peace begin to feel foreign. This is not failure. It is the natural shedding of an old skin. Every chosen soul must face this quiet dismantling before divine purpose can unfold. What feels like loss is, in truth, purification. In the teachings of the ancients, transformation is never comfortable. The Shaolin path describes it as burning away the false to reveal the essence. A monk who enters the temple does not only leave behind possessions, he releases the old self, the one shaped by habit and desire. Only then can he receive the deeper instruction. The same law moves through your life now. When the soul begins to evolve, it challenges the identity built for survival. You may feel uncertain, even empty. Relationships shift, passions fade, but this emptiness is sacred space, the ground being cleared for something higher to take root. Mindfulness is your lantern through this passage. Observe every thought that insists, "This is who I am." Watch every emotion that rises to defend the past. Do not cling, do not fight. Simply witness. The outdated identity will dissolve on its own when no longer fed by attachment. The old self was necessary for a time. It helped you learn, endure, and grow. But divine purpose demands a lighter form, one that moves not from fear, but from awareness. The Shaolin masters call this returning to the source within. Through surrender, a greater strength is born, the strength to exist without labels, to act without ego, and to walk forward carrying only what is true. This is the quiet resurrection before awakening. Discipline is often mistaken for restriction, yet in truth it is liberation in its highest form. Within the Shaolin tradition, every movement, every breath is shaped by repetition, not to perfect the body alone, but to refine the spirit. Through the fire of consistent practice, chaos melts into clarity. What appears to the world as routine is in essence a sacred rhythm, the heartbeat of mastery. Power in its purest state does not emerge from emotion or impulse. It is born from inner order. The ancient masters taught that God, or the universal force, cannot work through a vessel filled with disorder. A scattered mind, an undisciplined life, leaves no room for divine precision. Discipline becomes the structure through which higher energy flows, like a river guided by its banks, not hindered by them. Each day offers countless small moments where discipline can take root, rising at the same hour, training the body, stilling the mind, choosing silence over distraction. These acts, though simple, are not small. They signal readiness. The divine works through the hands of those who have learned control, for only the steady hand can carry sacred work without spilling it. The fire of discipline burns away laziness, doubt, and excess, leaving only focus and presence. It transforms chaos into coherence. In this fire, the ego loses its grip, and what remains is devotion, not to success, but to truth. Every repetition, every act of restraint becomes a prayer in motion. Through order, you invite grace. Through consistency, you invite purpose. The disciplined path is not a punishment, it is a preparation. For when the moment comes and divine opportunity appears, it is the trained soul, calm, steady, and ready, through which heaven chooses to act. There is a silence that cannot be filled by company, conversation, or comfort. The chosen ones encounter this silence not as punishment, but as initiation. It arrives subtly at first, a feeling of separation, a distance from familiar voices, from the rhythms of ordinary life. Yet in this solitude, the spirit begins to awaken. In the Shaolin tradition, monks would retreat to remote mountains, not to escape the world, but to meet themselves. The mountain offers no distractions, no applause, no external approval. Here, the body, mind, and spirit must learn to rely on themselves alone. This is the crucible where awareness sharpens. Every thought, every impulse is reflected back with perfect clarity. The soul learns to move with intention, unshaken by noise or expectation. Isolation strengthens frequency. Energy, when undiluted by outside influence, gains focus. The divine can begin its work precisely because the vessel is no longer scattered. What once relied on validation, distraction, or routine is now stripped to its essence. The lessons hidden in loneliness are subtle: patience, resilience, and the quiet recognition that presence alone is enough. This is not a time to resist or lament. It is a time to observe, to feel, and to deepen. Each day spent in solitude is a training of the spirit. Fear, doubt, and attachment rise to the surface. Not to punish, but to be seen and released. The chosen learn to sit with themselves, to breathe with their own rhythm, and to find completeness within. Like the mountain that endures seasons and storms, solitude shapes strength that is steady and enduring. In this quiet initiation, the soul sheds dependency, refines clarity, and becomes a vessel ready for the work it was always meant to carry. Only in isolation does the inner light burn with such purity. There is a darkness within every soul that the world rarely sees. It stirs quietly, appearing as fear, doubt, or pride, often just when the path begins to open. The chosen ones encounter this darkness not as an enemy to be fought outside, but as a teacher to be met within. To move forward, the shadow must be recognized, felt, and embraced. In the Shaolin tradition, mastery is never claimed through avoidance. The monks learned that true strength emerges when the eyes face what lurks beneath. A master does not run from anger, desire, or insecurity. Instead, he observes them, traces their origin, and allows the energies to flow through without distortion. This is the practice of inner alchemy, transforming what threatens stability into fuel for growth. Fear whispers that you are unworthy. Doubt questions every choice. Pride inflates and isolates. Left unattended, these shadows can fracture the spirit, even in moments of divine opportunity. But when approached with awareness, they become mirrors, revealing hidden truths, forgotten wounds, and unexamined patterns. The work is subtle, often imperceptible to the eyes of others, yet it strengthens the foundation of the soul. Integration, not suppression, is the path. The Shaolin teaching calls it balancing yin and yang within. When the shadow is acknowledged and harmonized, it no longer drains energy or steals peace. Instead, it stabilizes the light, making it steady and resilient. The chosen ones who have faced their inner darkness move through life with a calm certainty. Their purpose is not swayed by circumstance nor diminished by external forces. The battle with the shadow is quiet, unglamorous, and deeply personal. Yet it is essential. Only by embracing the full spectrum of one's being can the soul hold the divine work without faltering. In this union of light and shadow, mastery is born, and the vessel becomes unshakable. There is a subtle current that flows through the body when change begins. A quiet vibration that whispers of transformation before the mind even notices. Divine work does not arrive all at once. It recalibrates energy from within, adjusting the rhythm of thought, emotion, and action so that the vessel becomes ready to receive what is greater than itself. The Shaolin masters understood this intimately. They taught that the mind follows the breath, and the spirit follows the mind. In every stance, every movement, every pause, the breath anchors awareness. It is the thread that links body and mind to higher purpose. When energy shifts, breath becomes both compass and anchor, preventing the turbulence of old habits from disturbing the flow of transformation. This is not a practice of force, but of conscious alignment. By observing the rise and fall of each inhale and exhale, you begin to feel where energy is stagnant, where tension clings, and where intention has strayed. Mindfulness of breath trains the nervous system to remain calm, even as currents of change sweep through life. It is in this stillness that the divine can work with precision. Every decision, Every action must be guided by intentionality. The energy that flows without awareness is scattered. The energy that flows with mindfulness becomes a channel for higher purpose. Shaolin wisdom calls this harmonizing the inner tide. Through steady breathing and deliberate action, the vessel aligns with the rhythm of the unseen. Divine recalibration is subtle but unmistakable. You may notice your reaction softening, your focus sharpening, your presence deepening. These are not accidents. They are signs that the internal currents are being reshaped, preparing you to act in harmony with the greater work already in motion. To move with this energy is to move with purpose, with clarity, and with the steady heartbeat of the awakened soul. There comes a point when the long, quiet work within begins to show its reflection outside. The stillness, the discipline, the shadow-faced, the breath consciously guided, all of it gathers momentum like a hidden current, unseen yet unstoppable. This is the moment of emergence, when the inner alignment stabilizes and the world begins to respond in kind. Opportunities appear not by chance, but as echoes of your readiness. Connections form with precision, as if life itself arranges them in harmony with the frequency you now radiate. Clarity unfolds gradually, dissolving confusion and doubt, revealing paths that were always present but previously invisible. This is the massive thing in motion, not random blessings, but resonance. The universe moves in synchrony with the disciplined, awakened vessel, and what arrives reflects the work already done inside. The Shaolin masters speak of the inner temple, the body, mind, and spirit cultivated as one. When this temple is ordered, energy flows effortlessly, and divine opportunity finds its way naturally. The external world becomes a mirror of internal mastery. There is no force, no struggle. The currents of life bend toward those who have prepared to receive them. Emergence is subtle at first. A word, a meeting, a moment of insight. Then it grows, not through spectacle, but through momentum. The one who has labored quietly now experiences alignment that seems miraculous, yet it is the inevitable outcome of inner work. To witness this, one must remain vigilant, aware, and humble. The same discipline that carried you through solitude and shadow continues to guide you. Emergence is not the end, but the first breath of a larger purpose, the visible sign that the unseen labor of spirit, discipline, and awareness is now ready to manifest in the world. The highest purpose of any journey is rarely for the self. The path of preparation, the trials of solitude, the discipline of mind and body, all lead to one essential truth: service. In the Shaolin tradition, a warrior trains tirelessly not to dominate but to protect. Strength without purpose is hollow, but strength offered in service becomes sacred. When divine energy begins to move through a life, it is not to elevate for vanity or personal gain. It is to create a presence that steadies, enlightens, and uplifts. The chosen ones are called to be living conduits of calm strength, truth, and compassion. Every act performed with awareness becomes an offering, a ripple that quietly shapes the world around them. This service is subtle. It is found in the patience to listen when others cannot, in the courage to act when fear surrounds, in the restraint to remain centered when chaos arises. Like the Shaolin masters, the power lies not in display but in mastery over oneself, so that presence alone carries weight and guidance. To serve is to recognize that the divine gift of transformation is not a possession but a responsibility. The more one grows in alignment and clarity, the more one's energy touches lives beyond personal boundaries. True mastery manifests not in accolades, but in the ability to raise others without expectation, to offer strength without imposition, and to act with wisdom even when unnoticed. The path of service asks for humility, courage, and unwavering discipline. It is the final refinement of the chosen soul, the stage where inner mastery meets outward purpose. Through calm, conscious presence, the work of the divine flows naturally, and the light cultivated within becomes a beacon for others to follow. Service transforms the individual, and in doing so, transforms the world around them. The greatest transformation often begins quietly, within the stillness of your own mind and the discipline of your daily practice. The massive thing unfolding in your life is not always visible, but it is real. Moving through your awareness, your patience, and your willingness to surrender to what is greater than yourself. Awakening does not come from sudden miracles, but from mastery cultivated in silence. Every mindful breath, every conscious choice, every moment of integrity strengthens the vessel through which divine balance can flow. The chosen ones rise not by force but by aligning their inner world with higher purpose, becoming the calm in the storm and the quiet light that steadies those around them. Take these teachings into your life. Practice stillness amidst distraction. Observe your thoughts without judgment, and act with clarity and intention. Let discipline shape your actions. Let awareness guide your decisions, and let compassion lead your interactions. In doing so, you honor the work that is being quietly done within you. Thank you for joining this journey today. If these lessons resonate, become part of our community by subscribing to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets the art of self-mastery. Carry this calm, carry this clarity, and allow your inner transformation to shine outward, touching the world in ways both subtle and profound.